Hey everyone, welcome back to the channel. Thanks for tuning in for another episode. I've gotten asked from so many people whether or not I'm fishing the Bassmaster Open event on the Mississippi River out of La Crosse, which is practice is going on right now. As much as I would love to be, I am not. I actually signed up for it uh, a long time ago. I signed up for it, probably right around the new year, and that put me on the wait list to be like number 35-ish, somewhere around there. And I've gotten monthly updates since then that had me all the way up to number 28 on the wait list back in early July, early to mid July. I don't remember the exact date. It was right around the time I think Leech Lake was going on. And so at that point, I had been given I had been reached out to by Bridgeford and had some other potential sponsor opportunities come up that fell in line or on top of the lacrosse event. So at that point, I called up Bassmaster and I said, I need to know like where I'm at on this. And at that point, they're like, you're 28 on the wait list. So at that point, I asked for a refund and to be pulled off the wait list just because I could not, I needed to have an answer. I needed to either know I was fishing the tournament or I needed to be able to provide an answer to my sponsors and get some of the other potential opportunities I had done. So I will not be fishing, which I'm really disappointed about. I love fishing the Mississippi River. I don't fish there much. I haven't fished there since last year when I won the Major League Fishing Invitational event there. So the assumption is that I'm like fishing there all the time. I don't. I fish there once a year usually, and it's generally for a tournament. The thing is, I absolutely love it. It's river fishing. It's a couple hours from my house. So from that standpoint, I try to fish any tournaments I can when I have the ability to do so. In this case, it just didn't work out. Uh, so, what I wanted to do though is I wanted to give you a little bit of an update or a preview as to what I think will happen for that event because it could be a really interesting event. And I say that because so today is Sunday. I think it's their second day of practice of the five. So the tournament starts Thursday. Well, Friday, we had a really good cold front blow through to the point where, our highs were in the upper 50s. We've had lows in the upper 30s. Water temps were really sustained at good summer levels up in the 70, mid 70-degree range. I don't know what the river is right now, but the river will drop faster than natural lakes, being that it's dirtier water, and a lot of that water is coming from further up north. So my guess is that the water temp will probably drop 10 degrees between the time practice started and the time the tournament actually starts on Thursday. So that'll really have an interesting impact. It had been setting up to be basically a summer pattern tournament, but if we do have that drop in water temperature, it could really position the fish in a lot of different ways. Generally speaking, what happens as we move into the fall month there is you tend to have a good wing dam bite and a good current seam bite, sand drop bite, uh, which should only be getting better. So it's probably going on already. It should only continue to get better. The largemouth are going to be the backwater largemouth are going to be a little bit more of a question because they're the ones that are going to start to move more away from the river. You're going to get a lot of fish that actually will push way back into some of the slop. You'll get some fish that start pushing back into some of your slack water backwaters, their wintering type areas. So that'll be the question, as to whether or not that's actually happened. I do think you're going to see some potentially good strong weights. I think it'll probably take 17 to 18 a day to win. The river this year, based on what I've seen, is fished better than any other year I've ever seen in terms of top end weights. So I think you're going to see probably in that 17 and a half a day range need to win. So for 3 days, you're looking at somewhere in that 52-pound mark, somewhere 52, 53 pounds, which for 3 days is pretty stout, especially when you're talking about a whole pile of boats that are on that river and guys that might be going to different pools are going to give up a lot of time to lock through. It'll be very interesting to see how this one plays out. I think you're primarily going to be, like I said, looking at the wing dam. I think the main river is going to play a much bigger factor. Water levels are pretty good. So I think you're going to see some wing dam fish. I think you're going to see some current seam fish. And I think the smallmouth are going to play a bigger role than maybe what I would have thought 2 weeks ago. So I think potentially smallmouth might win this. Probably still need a little bit of a mixed bag, but I think you're going to see a ton of topwater action taking place generally on the river. September rolls around, you're talking about your bigger walking baits, bigger like vixens, big spooks, chrome. Chrome color can be good, but really your bone color is probably your number one color out there. I do think you're going to see a lot of people catching them on Carolina rigs. I think you're going to see a lot of people catching them on flukes, and I think the frog bite still could be pretty good. It just really depends on how much that water temp drops. But I do think the frog bite's still going to be a play. But it'll be interesting to see how it rolls out. I'm looking forward to watching as much of it as I can. I think you're going to see the local guys really shine. Guys like Cade Laufenberg, Nick Trim, uh, Bruggen. I mean, the usual river rats for that area. If Tom Mansour's fishing it, he could be another one that could be a player. And I don't know that any of those guys actually are fishing it. My assumption is that they are. But it'll be interesting. I think local knowledge might play a lot more now with the week that is rolled in. I think it'll play into the hands of those guys versus individuals that don't have much experience on it. If I had to guess, I think Pool 9 and Pool 7 probably will be the winning pools for this event. I think they tend to have better smallmouth action, and I just think the smallmouth are going to do really well. So I'm really curious to see how this one plays out. I'm disappointed that I'm not going to be able to do it, but I am excited for some of the other things that I've got going on. I'll be filming a TV show, which I'll let you in on a little bit more. I plan to head out to Berkeley and kind of do a tour of the Spirit Lake facility. Um, I've got some promotional events with Bridgeford, so it'll be a busy week for me regardless. But I'll be keeping an eye on the Mississippi River event to see how that all goes down. My guess, 17 and a half a day. One of the local studs will probably take this one home, and I'm thinking smallmouth. So let me know in the comment section, what do you guys think will be the win and weight? I'll be curious to see what you guys have to say as well. It could very possibly be a lot heavier. If some of those fish have really pushed into their fall setup, it could be a lot higher. It could be like 20 a day. Uh, but it wouldn't surprise me if it's 15 a day either. It's the river. You never know what you're getting into. Anyways, guys, thought I'd give you a little update because I've had so many people reach out regarding this open and whether or not I was fishing. I just thought I'd fill you in. Otherwise, thanks for watching. I appreciate all your support. Subscribe to the channel if you haven't done so already. Stay tuned. We'll have a new video coming out tomorrow.